Joe presents Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
Hello and you're very welcome to Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby here on Joe, together with our friends at Guinness. On today's show, we look back at another clean sweep in Europe for the Irish provinces. Producer Pat talks to Leinster and Ireland's Garry Ringrose. We welcome Andrew Porter into the studio and look ahead to Ireland's Six Nations squad, which will be named this week. We'll also announce our Guinness Made of More Player of the Weekend and answer your Twitter questions. How are you, Trimble?
I'm great.
Good.
Great, Barry.
Yeah.
What a weekend for Irish rugby.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. 4 provinces potentially
The four
heading
pride
into
provinces.
the heading into the quarterfinals, potentially for the first time ever. Proud as punch.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never felt so proud of the Ravenspan arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bouncing.
What were the conditions like? I couldn't tell. There was no flags. Very few flags being waved in Ravenspan. So yeah, I couldn't tell what was the wind as bad as it looked?
Was. I couldn't work out what direction it was going. I think it was swirling a decent bit. It was dry now, but it was a bit swirly and a bit unpredictable. But definitely good enough to play a bit of rugby, and we saw plenty of rugby being played. So it's strange. I think people have short memories. I think just with Ulster, and you could look at their current form, which has been quite poor over the Interpros. But the thing is, when it's Europe, it's just so different. Ulster is just so different. Obviously, they make a few changes, bring a few guys back, a few big names. That makes a difference. But genuinely, it's not even just the names. It's just a different occasion, a different environment, a different buzz.
Do you think people were writing them off? Is that why you say that?
No, not writing them off. I just think they got beat badly in the RDS. They got beat badly in, not badly, just beaten anyway in Galway, back-to-back on it this season. And I think then just there's a little bit of criticism, and I think that's fair enough. They have been a little bit poor over the last couple of weeks, but whenever you think about this competition and the way Ulster perform in this competition, certainly that back-to-back 2 weeks rounds 3 and 4 against Scarlets kind of just shows whenever they get their big names back and they get back to a big stage, a big occasion, big French side in town, and then that brings the best out of this Ulster side, I think, and it proved to be the case.
Yeah, I think they're obviously, it depends on who they have in the field. If they have their best 15 in the pitch, then I think they'll match anyone.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Then missing Henderson and missing Cooney.
Yeah, Cooney was a huge loss, but obviously Shanahan came on and played brilliantly.
Did really well, didn't he?
But yeah, massive loss for losing Cooney before the game. But yeah, I wasn't surprised with the win, but it was just more the manner in which they did it, I think, which kind of took me back a bit. I thought it was so impressive. Just starting with Racing, I thought they were so poor in the first 25 minutes. Like Finn Russell probably had his worst game I've ever seen.
I thought not in the first 20. He was poor
throughout.
Towards the end, he missed touch, and then he butchered the try.
He had 2 blocked down in the first half. He had 3 kicks a goal he missed. He kicked 1 missed touch from play, 1 from a penalty.
Apart from that, he was grand.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought he lacked interest.
I really like about him though.
Yeah.
Even when things aren't going his way, he's still happy to smile and just shrug it off. And
yeah, very true. Sorry,
to be fair,
sorry for being negative.
To be fair, he did. Like, obviously, then he kind of compounded mistakes, which I was going to argue though. He seems to just move on. If he makes a mistake, he moves on and just smiles about it because there's no issue. But then obviously, if he's compounding them, then he must be carrying something into the next play. I think if you're, I don't know how to think about that, because it's refreshing to see someone just think kind of rationally about it. Listen, I can't do anything about that. May as well laugh it off and get on and continue to be confident, because he's a player that probably needs that. Just got a little bit of flair. He fits in at Racing the way they play. But anyway, I think if you're a teammate of his and if you saw him smiling, you'd be going, "What is this guy smiling at?
Yeah.
Stop cocking up and smiling." It'd be infuriating, wouldn't it?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
It's that nervous smile, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around people like that. It's a bit unnerving. But look, I think they still had some positive parts to the game. Vakatawa was unbelievable. in
He
the
was
first,
class.
yeah, first half especially. Creating tries. Nakawara put down a few balls in the first half, but just generally his ability to create space and throw the ball around the place is ridiculous. He's
Yeah.
like a water polo player or something like that, just flinging a little ball around the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I was working at the game for BT, and we were doing a little bit of chat at halftime. And I think I created a hybrid player, half Fakatawa, half Nakarawa.
what do you call him?
Bakarawa.
He's class.
He would be brilliant.
He'd be
That guy.
Yeah, but they are without the two of them. They for me they'd nothing. Without the two of them, there was just mistakes all over the pitch. The set piece weren't great. They defensively they went to sleep so many times, but not taking anything from Ulster. They got some unbelievable tries.
I don't know, Baz. In the second half, whenever Ulster came out and scored, I think it was Jacob's try just at the start of the second half. Probably any other French side would fall away and would just kind of start to go out the gate a little bit and think, right, today's not going to be our day. Racing dug deep, came back into the game, scored twice.
But I think it was the two boys that did that.
Genuinely,
you take them out.
other lads there.
Yeah, I just think you take that two of them out, and there was. I know, yeah. Look, it's
I just
hard
thought
to tell.
it's just unlike a French side to. That is pretty unprofessional.
Unlike a French side. Who is it? Go on, answer. Answer it.
Yeah, I just think it's quite unlike a French side to show that amount of character. And then again, Ulster kind of had to react again and go and win the game rather than just kind of hanging on. So
They
yeah,
lost. I think they lost shape when Billy Burns stopped kicking, and I'm surprised they didn't take him off sooner and bring Lowry on, because they did look like they were struggling with exiting and getting some structure to the team. As good as I was so impressed with Addison again. There's some money into our swear jar for Addison.
Yeah.
But he, kicking goals, controlling, exiting out of their defence, still making ridiculous breaks. He's involved in pretty much everything good they did. Had that big kick for Stockdale across field, which could have been a try.
we left footer, wasn't it?
So
Just
sweet,
last
man.
minute left footer.
Yeah.
That's class, wasn't it?
And he was so deep. The last thing you're expecting is that he's going to be doing a crossfield kick there when they're pulling back that pass into the middle of the field.
I thought I could understand why Ulster were trying to hold on to the ball, because anytime they kick long, I mean, we saw the try. Obviously, Teddy Thomas wasn't playing, but you saw the try he scored against Toulon the week before. He kicked loose to them. Finn Russell sitting in the backfield, and he just brought Teddy Thomas underneath them, and they torture you if you kick loose to them, which Ulster ended up kicking loose to them. But I can see why they didn't intend to. The kicking was a plan B. They were trying to play, and they nearly got to the edge a couple of times, but Racing were coming hard, and then Ulster just went, oh no, we have to kick here, and then they weren't kicking on their terms. And because of that, then Racing got their tails up a bit. But I can kind of see why they also were trying to hold on to the ball, because otherwise you're just inviting them into the game to get their big players and their fast guys and their elusive back three into the game. So I can see why they did, but it just didn't quite work, and then it almost cost them in the end.
Yeah, but I admired the balls to do it. And they obviously they were getting returns out of it in the first half. Stockdale in particular, 2 brilliant tries. Yeah. Again, man, it's just unstoppable.
Yeah. I know. It's. I think the first one from the cross kick, not the first try, the one that he didn't score, when he didn't get the bounce of the ball. When have you ever seen Jacob not get the bounce of the ball?
I couldn't believe that. Yeah.
And I just thought that's the first time I've ever seen him in a try scoring position and not score a try.
Yeah.
It's weird. I was going, what has happened, Jacob? He's crap.
Yeah.
and then sure enough, like the chip for the next one, and he just points it up perfectly for him, and it's business as usual.
Yeah, it was, and like you can't go without mentioning Jordy Murphy, I think, and Coetzee and Best, just doing damage all over the field as well. Jordy Murphy, what a signing up there! He's, like obviously the experience of winning the competition last year is huge as well for him. He knows what to do, but he's just gets through so much work. Massive signing for them. I also loved Michael Lowry coming on and tackling Nakarawa at the end.
Yeah.
And he did it twice actually. There was another one
Oh,
he did
really?
as well. Yeah, not obviously as big the first time, but yeah, he's another big. Not fan of the show, but favorite.
The show's a fan of his.
A favorite of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you guys didn't mind. We were saying that before we came on air about that. You didn't think it was a big deal about the Addison not using up the whole 60 seconds at the end when they had that penalty. Like, or do you think they should have actually went for the bonus point try? You think they should have done that?
I didn't think they should have gone for the bonus point because I thought they were hanging on so much at the end there that I thought personally it was a good decision to go for goal. I thought they would have ran the clock out, but I can understand why they didn't. It was not having Best on the pitch, not having Cooney or Billy Burns or somebody who would normally make that decision or be wide enough to not.
Well, I know
run the clock down.
Rory's a big fan of going to the corner, so had he been on, maybe he might have called that. But I can see why they took 3 points, even though it was. I think the penalty came from a maul in the previous line-out, so they had the beating of them up front at that stage. Maybe Rasmussen were starting to tire a little bit, a few of the big boys, but yeah.
What were you calling for? Were people in the stadium calling to go to the corner?
I was
everyone
unsure.
Relieved?
I wasn't. I was relieved. I just wanted to get the win and get out of there.
Yeah.
I suppose I wouldn't have been prepared to have risked it. I suppose.
Yeah.
I think it was the right decision, as you said. Not the right decision, but it's probably the one I.
Yeah. It was such an unusual game that I think you could see why they just wanted to get off the pitch.
Yeah. They might not need that bonus point anyway.
Yeah.
But as you say, I think if Addison had have just took an extra 2 seconds, 3 seconds before he struck the ball, then the game would have been over, and that would have been handy enough.
Yeah, well, still, it was an unbelievable result. Not taking anything from them. They, any time you beat one of Europe's best teams at that late stage of the competition, have to take our hats off to them. But moving on to Munster, also a huge win for Gloucester over in Gloucester. They walloped them. What was it? 41-15. Looking at this game, I just immediately start thinking back to the Gloucester versus Munster and the miracle match and the history that's there. And Trimble and I started talking about the good old days, and we started like Ulster's 1999 winning team and Leinster versus Toulouse have a lot of history there as well. So we started getting nostalgic, and we started thinking about how it would be interesting to look at those teams gone by and looking at where are they now, almost like a reeling in the years thing. And then we said we'd look at some of the popular music at the time, popular films at the time, and look back at them. And then our brains started running, and we said I started looking into certain players, like from the Munster miracle match, the likes of Jason Holland. Where is he now? He's coaching the Hurricanes in New Zealand. He was very, very important part of Munster beating the Gloucester team that night. Mike Mullins, former Munster centre, he's now coaching North Otago. Henry Paul, do you remember him?
Yes.
He was a full-back that played for Gloucester that day.
Yeah. Played a bit of sevens as well.
Bit of sevens, bit of rugby league.
Uh-huh.
He amazingly hasn't been seen since that night, because he ran out the gate at Thome Park then, and he hasn't been seen since.
Hasn't been seen at Thome Park?
No, I'm joking. He is...
Rest in peace.
He was coaching Dubai Dragons for a few years, and now he is the backs coach of Canada in Canada. And then we started
I wonder
talking.
if he overlapped with Mark Anscombe was coaching Canada for a while.
Was he? I think he's just started now. He's the backs coach. I'm not sure
Okay.
who the head coach is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But he's supposed to be a very good coach. We started talking about that was January 2003. Some of the top film that year was Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King. Also, Baz and Andrew favorite movie. That song, All the Things She Said by Tattoo. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
All the things she said.
By the Cheeky Girls.
So this is weird. So I got onto Trimble and I said, "Oh man, look, I think we can expand on this and get into maybe more of the music and pop side of things." And he said, "Yeah, I've actually got a meeting on Wednesday with Henry Rollins, and I remembered Henry Rollins. He was he in a band?
Yeah,
or
his
he
band was called Henry Rollins Band.
Rollins Band, yeah. And he was making a joke. Trimble was making a joke that he was meeting Henry Rollins for a coffee, and then I said, "This band Tattoo, all the things she said." I thought they were the Cheeky Girls when I first read it. I was like, "Remember the Cheeky Girls?" So I texted you and I was like, "Yeah, I'm meeting the Cheeky Girls for a coffee in Fumbly this afternoon." And then you said back to me, without me having ever mentioned all the things she said, you said, "The Cheeky Girls, oh, they remind me of that song, All the Things She Said." I was like, wow.
Did we just become best friends?
That was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both triggered us. So then we started talking about pop music, and basically what we've come to is that we want to pick our starting 15 pop stars if they were rugby players. That correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
someone suggest this?
So
to
this
you?
is why Henry Rollins was in my head.
Yeah.
Because I was chatting to a guy after a great suggestion, brilliant suggestion.
Yeah.
I was chatting to a guy after the Ulster game, and he said, enjoying the podcast. Here's an idea. Why don't you come up with a pop star 15? So he said Henry Rollins would be playing number 8. He said James Hetfield, the Metallica singer, would be 6.
7.
7.
7?
Yeah, because he's
It looks like a 7.
yeah, he's not physical enough to play 6.
Yeah.
And then that made me think he would be a little bit like, you know, Timani Harrison, who plays for Northampton.
Yeah.
The guy with like a bit of a punk kind of haircut
Yeah.
and tattoos.
Yeah.
And I think he could be a bit of a Timani Harrison.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of a temper, that guy.
Yeah.
So that's James Hetfield in rugby form.
I love it.
Again, maybe a sliding doors moment. James Hetfield
Could have played for Northampton.
yeah.
Well, I went through my 15, and they happened quite naturally, where most of my forwards ended up being like heavy metal or
Oh.
tough enough rappers and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Because I had Elton John at tight head.
I can see that. He could lock one down. Actually, my front row were a bit like Pavarotti was up there for
Oh,
me.
nice.
Not quite. Meatloaf.
Uh-huh.
Meatloaf would lock down a scrum, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
Kind of like Peter Claus-esque. You know, you can imagine smoking a fag afterwards and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Who's in the row?
I had Snoop Dogg. Did you have Snoop
I
Dogg?
wish I had said that first. Only because I couldn't think, obviously, the criteria, as far as we're concerned for this, is just tall.
Tall.
Right? So, and then I just, you obviously did the same thing, did you?
No, I
You just
thought of him.
Googled tall pop stars?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I did that, and then Snoop Dogg came up. I didn't know he was
Really?
so tall.
Yeah.
He's
good. You get him up
190
there.
centimeters, 193, I think maybe.
And I'd say
Calvin Harris was another one in the mix.
Is he tall? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but before I looked that up, the only tall singer I could think of was this is obscure as well. David Kitt, the Irish singer.
Is he tall? Yeah.
He's tall. Yeah. I mean, I actually never.
That's pretty obscure.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think, because we reference quite a few obscure, like 90s kind of pop culture music videos and stuff, music and movies and stuff. I always think, oh, there's gonna be one or two people out there like, wow, I was a massive David Kitt fan.
There was a few people in my class that were huge David Kitt
Yeah,
fans.
but for
Tell
the
you one song.
for the one or two guys who are David Kitt fans,
Yeah.
how many other Baz and Andrew listeners are we
Well,
ostracizing?
they look him up now, and they might like him.
Maybe we'll put
Educating.
David Kitt back on the map. Not that he's not on
probably
the map.
huge around 2003. I think that was kind of his era.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had-
yeah, because I just in around 2003 when I was a student, listening to a bit of David Kitt.
There you go. I had Marilyn Manson as another second row.
Oh,
Particularly when he used to be on stilts. Do you remember that? My brother tells a brilliant story where he went to see Iron Maiden in the RDS when he was about 16, and Iron Maiden would have obviously had hardcore biker fans, like really
Yeah.
heavy metal guys, and for some reason Marilyn Manson was supporting Iron Maiden and no one knew who he was. And at the start, like the smoke machines were going 90, and it was just big fog and smoke, and they could just see this lantern coming out quite up high in the background. And then Marilyn Manson emerged out of the smoke on a pair of stilts with a chandelier in his hand, swinging a chandelier, wearing a mini skirt, and just screaming at the top of his lungs. And all the Maiden fans just turned on him and started throwing bottles, like raining bottles.
They didn't
down.
like this behaviour?
No, they didn't. They thought it was
Sorry,
like
was he supporting
Iron Maiden. Yeah.
Stilts to me, it doesn't fit his image, his brand, like his goth kind of brand. Stilts is like clowns and circus and kids and fun.
Oh, I don't think he has anything that you could actually pigeonhole him for, could you?
Well,
Miniskirt,
not based on that
chandelier,
description,
probably with a chainsaw on the other hand or something. Oh, I don't know. He'd be good second row on stilts, though. You got to.
Yeah.
I just running through a few more. I had Lemmy from Motorhead as a 6. Be good 6, kind of like
Yeah, fine, yeah.
Trevor Brennan, Quinny-esque a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of Marcel could see about him.
Coolio had him down as a 6 as well, maybe like Serge Betson.
Yeah, probably more of a line-out option.
Yeah.
More of a Peter Mahoney.
You had Henry Rollins down as an 8.
Yeah.
I had Flea from the Chili Peppers down as a scrum half.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, be good little angry little fella darting around.
Yeah. Yeah, like a Machino kind of.
I had also Phil Collins down, which, you know, be that little...
Philip Collins.
Philip. Did I get away with that? Kind of like annoying little mouthy 9.
Yeah.
Shut up, Philip Collins.
Could you, I mean, with Tattoo or the Cheeky Girls, could they halfback partnership?
I was going to put the cheeky girls on either wing. Cheeky girl per wing.
Yeah, okay.
11 and 14. Do you think?
Yeah, fine, yeah.
10, I had a 10. I have a few options. Justin Timberlake. Be a good, like, Cipriani-esque
Okay, yeah.
one where you don't fully get behind him. You know, you're like, he's class, but you're like, you remember what he did back in the day when he was NSYNC.
Yeah.
Similar to Cipriani's classic, but he was a bit of a douchebag back in the day. Wasn't he? So you kind of can't forgive him for that.
Yeah.
Also, like, Bono would be such an annoying little 10 that you're like, oh, retire, Bono. Jeez. We're done with you. Go away. But I settled on John Mayer. He'd be a good 10 because he's so skillful, quite in touch with his feminine side, with his love songs, which a 10 often has to be, you know, pretty boy.
Yeah, okay.
But then serious skills. Anyone else? I thought Mariah Carey or Beyonce would be good 12 because they're kind of solid,
direct,
but
get you a gain line,
but can move as well. You know.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion?
Go on.
That you might qualify to play 13.
It was either me or Elvis.
Oh, Elvis would be good, to be fair. Sorry, Baz. Anybody else, I think you get the nod, but...
Okay.
I mean, Elvis...
Damn it, I should have kept my mouth shut.
Because, but then if you put Elvis in there, then that team is completely rudderless.
Yeah,
There's not an ounce of rugby know-how in that team.
Yeah, but good skills, though. Good skills. Carlos Santana, I thought, would be a good 15. Really good hands.
Has he got good hands?
Yeah, he's the most ridiculous guitarist of all time. Or if you're not, if you're not into maybe flashy 15s, Enya, I thought would be quite solid. Just quite...
Don't know Enya.
Enya, Jesus. Anyway, let us know if anyone wants to... Anyway, let us know if anyone wants to chip in with some suggestions for our pop starting 15.
And for next week, I'll do a bit of research and find out if there's any kind of interesting stories in the Ulster 99 side.
Very good.
Find out what they're doing now. I would like to find out what Simon Gagan's doing now as well.
Oh, let's go back there.
Yeah.
Let's go back to 1991.
Yeah. Or we can do that the following week. We'll keep our powder dry.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say, Barry, I'd say that's the Munster match covered, isn't it? Right, so here stepping in for Barry and Andrew. The kind of first one we were talking a little bit before we started there about Christmas and what your plans were and stuff like that. You were saying no Indiana Jones or Die Hard, none of those traditional Christmas movies for you. It was just about catching up with family and friends.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too much of a movie buff. But yeah, with schoolmates and stuff, I wouldn't get a chance to see too much. Certainly through November because it's so busy and was out in Carton House for a couple of weeks and then was had a couple of exams as well, so hadn't seen them for a while. So it's good to catch up with them and obviously spend time with family as well.
Yeah, but I was saying there was like I think the 29th was my first day back. I know that you were probably back the day before or something like that, getting ready for this Munster game. But I did that 4-hour round trip. I was like, is it worth it? You know, should I just be at home watching this on TV? But a few minutes into the game, I was riveted. I was delighted. I was in Thomond Park, and so for you being in the middle of it all, what was that like? Because it was all kicking off every couple of minutes.
Yeah, well, the atmosphere in Thomond Park never disappoints. So any time I've been down there, it's usually like that and incredibly loud, and feels like the ground's shaking when Munster come out anyway. So it's cool to be a part of that and experience that. And then it was a feisty enough start. I'd say both teams would probably think they could have gone about things differently and maybe not been as bad, but I think it just shows how badly both teams wanted to win. So there was definitely that edge there, and Christmas well and truly out of the system. Within the first couple of minutes, as you said.
Johnny and Leo were in the post-match press conference, and I think it was one of those things. It was like himself and Joey were having their little clashes and stuff like that. But I didn't mind it. A lot of people didn't mind that you spoke to them the weeks afterwards. It's good to see there's a bit of like feistiness about it as well. But you know, it's kind of good to see. I think from that perspective, like I know you guys would be gutted to lose him, but to see how well Joey's been doing for Munster over the last few weeks and few months must be, from an Irish perspective, good as well.
Yeah, well, it'd be good pals with him as well, so it's great to see him. I mean, it's a tough spot to be in, to move when he did. So it's I mean, it's not surprising because obviously the type of player and the quality of player he is, but it is great. It's great to see him do well. Obviously, it's not fun getting beaten by him, but no, it is. It's great to see him do so well, and hopefully it'll continue for him. Was it weird to kind of see that thing? Because I know there's a few clashes, and he didn't get involved too much. The only one he got involved in, he ended up on his ass now, but you know, he's on the fringes and talking like that, but then you sometimes see the Munster lads coming over protecting him. Is it weird to see that then? Like he's in red on the other side of the pitch from you, and you don't really overthink it too much when you're out there. You're kind of in a bit of a mode or zone, so you just get on with it. You don't really it's not too personal. That's why afterwards you laugh about it and shake hands, and then it's what's done is done. But you don't really overthink it too much like that when you're out there. You mentioned there about Carton House. I think there was a one-day camp a little bit before Christmas, maybe, just to get everybody in. You always get a couple of new faces. I think you're only 2.5 years in the Ireland squad as well, but can you spot the guys who are up on the first couple of days? Like, you know, are they a bit wide-eyed about everything? And do you get a chance to have a word with them? And like the likes of Sam Arnold, I'm thinking of someone like that who's just recently up in camp. And not really. I think the level or the expectation that in Irish camp is kind of filtered down, and it's similar in all the provinces as well. So there wouldn't be maybe like that the odd time, if like even think I can only go on myself. I remember when I was first in, I was breaking it and probably wide-eyed and fit that description, but then you look at someone like Jordan Larmour and James Ryan, and it was their first times in. I don't know what they were like inside, but it certainly didn't look like it. They were feeling the pressure by how they performed and how well they performed. So there wouldn't be too much of that really, to be honest. Everyone's kind of turned on, ready to go. It's because it's especially when it's the short camps, they're usually pretty intense because you only have you for less than 24 hours, so you're flat out from as soon as you arrive really. Andrew spoke to Jacob Stockdale about that trip over to Chicago, and you must have been, as well as a chance to get out there and experience it on the pitch as well, but Jacob admitted he was a little bit worried that why am I going to Chicago here? Like, because he was thinking of the Argentina and New Zealand games. Did you get a sense of trepidation as well of like, you know, some of the lads are sticking around in Carton House? Is this a good or a bad thing that I'm heading to America? So you don't really think about it. I was the last time I was in Chicago, I was for that New Zealand game and I didn't get on. So you can kind of consider it like that. But then I was thinking, well, at least hopefully get to go and play now, which I knew was picked to go. So I was thinking I might as well go and give it everything and try get another win. I think it's even with talking with my family and friends and stuff, with the competition there is now, certainly in and around centre at Ireland. Any opportunity you get, you really got to try and take full advantage of it and throw everything at it. So that's why I was looking at it as just another opportunity and to give it socks. And you just don't know how the rest of the games are going to pan out, because even the Six Nations just gone, for me personally was injured for the first. So I come back from my shoulders, did my ankle against Ulster, and then was back, played against Southern Kings, and didn't think I'd be involved in any of the Six Nations games. And then there was Chris got injured, Robbie got injured, and then I found myself playing in that game. So I kind of appreciate that things can change really quickly. So any opportunity you get, you just got to embrace it and enjoy it, and don't really kind of consider too much stuff like selection-wise. It's out of your control.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up by saying good luck with the Six Nations coming up ahead, and good luck with Leinster as well before you even get there. A lot of big things. And Jack, he was in with us there, brought in his homemade biltong. I don't know if you got to sample that, but he already kind of said that there's no harm.
It was lovely.
Yeah,
it was very good.
He's talked about Grand Slam. Not like he's like we're not afraid of saying it again. You know, like it is a target to go for again. Would you be the same as him? Like,
yeah, you're. That's ultimately what you're aiming for. Any player is trying to win every game and be as best you can. So, and that inevitably means the Grand Slam. So, but it kind of, to pair it back, it all starts with that first game, because and you're just trying to win, especially now with any team really can go out and win it. So, and each team would back themselves to do so. So, yeah, just focus on that first match, and then I mean, even France is a good lesson. How the fine margins that it all falls on. So if you get too caught up in anything outside of that, then probably work against you.
Perfect. Cheers for that, Gary.
Thanks, William.
All the best.
Thank you.
Cheers.
That was grand.
Andrew Porter, welcome to Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby. Fresh off the pitch in the RDS with a 29-13 win over Toulouse. How are you feeling today?
Not too bad today. It was obviously great to get the win against a great team like Toulouse, but yeah, obviously another big challenge this week. So have to take our learnings from that game and move on quite swiftly from that.
You came on 20 minutes to go, straight into a phase of play which saw Toulouse keep the ball for about 8 minutes inside your own 22. That was a pretty intense period to come onto the game. You had 11 tackles in that 20 minutes, a couple of carries, one turnover, great little offload as well at one point. You got stuck in, to say the least.
Tried my best to get stuck in as much as I could, but sure, got thrown in the deep end, defending our line for a good few minutes there. So it's obviously tough work, but it's great to kind of hold up and see our defence work like that, and obviously grind out a win like that, in especially in the RDS.
Were you sucking diesel?
It's
weird because you're coming on, so you're nervous, right? You're coming on the pitch, so you got that nervous energy, which makes you immediately more tired. And then you probably made 5 or 6 tackles in that, and up against big fellas, and then the intensity of the crowd and stuff. Like, I've been in that situation, and I feel like I'm the most unfit person.
Oh yeah, I'm just trying not to mess up too much when I come on. It's just it's tough when you can't get your second wind as well when you're on for 20 minutes like it was yesterday. But sure. Yeah, like I said, I was trying not to mess up too much, like just trying to stick to the basics and just try to contribute to the team as best I could.
Do you know? Is it talked about before? Do you know 60 minutes, or is it just typically that becomes the pattern? So you expect it in 60 minutes, or would Leo sit down with me and say, right?
No, it kind of changes every week. Sure, It could be like against Connacht 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was on at half time 40 minutes, and then like the next week, like it could be on 50. It's like you never know really, especially at a prop as well. So like you're never likely to stay on for the whole game. So you just got to be ready from whenever you're called upon. But it's nerve wracking as well. So not knowing when you're going to come on. So you just gotta be ready at all times really. So
yeah, I thought Leinster did an unbelievably good job in the run up to the game, in typical Leinster style. Before the Wasp game earlier in the season, Sexto was in the press saying, you know, the last time this Wasp team were in town, they beat us out the gate, and then obviously you hammered Wasps, then see them again. I think everybody just forgets about that, and I think they fall for it again. I think people fell for it again. They thought, you know, this Toulouse side actually has a chance, and then you blew them off the park again. Again, that typical Leinster humility, it's infuriating, isn't it? But I mean, we fell for it, and then you just blew them off the park. Like,
I think they were talking a lot about players missing as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
It was obvious, like you were missing a lot of.
Like we were obviously missing a good few faces, like Sexto, Robbie Henshaw, like just to name 2 of them. But like, I think what we've been working on really is just our depth in the squad. So like just a lot of younger lads getting a good bit of game time, getting that experience under their belt. So myself included, the past year or so. Sure, Conor O'Brien made his Champions Cup debut yesterday. So, and yeah, I think that's what we're all kind of about building in the club, and it's just so important, especially for these big weeks. Like,
And what was the atmosphere like in the dressing room afterwards? Did you sing a song at all?
No, we didn't sing a song.
Would you ever? Would Leinster? I never knew if Leinster sang a
no, we
song.
just the kind of the new guys, first cappers, or obviously Conor O'Brien sang yesterday.
What's he sing?
The Gambler.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
standard go to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ulster have a song.
No.
Sure.
No, we don't.
You don't have a song
No, no, we don't have a song.
in the dressing room at all. Oh,
No, we do, but I mean, I would be betraying confidence if I mean, obviously between the three of us off air, I can give you a rendition.
okay.
But you've heard it already.
Sure.
Let's not bluff the viewer and the listener, but probably not for public consumption. I wouldn't have thought. So Leinster, the Munster have a song.
We have stand up and fight,
Ah, right.
which they stand in a circle and everyone stands up and they fight. Actually, for my first game, we played over in Glasgow, and I was we got into the huddle after we won the match, and we were in the dressing room in a huddle, and it was like, okay, song, and Barry, you have to sing the song, and I was like, what? I never knew this was a thing, and I was just about to sing American Pie by Don McLean, because that was my song, and I'd go into that, and I just turned to Peter Stringer, I was like, what do I sing? And he was like, oh, you just sing Stand Up and Fight, so just go, stand up. So I did that, and everyone sang it, but it haunts me. Imagine I went a long, long time ago. Imagine I'd have been lynched. So
I'd say if Stringer hadn't known that you were vulnerable,
stop.
he would have sunk you.
Sow me down the river. Thank God he didn't. But producer Pat gave us a little heads up here that you were once a Leinster mascot for a game against Glasgow, and you ran onto the pitch with Leo Cullen as captain.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
mental.
yeah. Actually, I found a picture of that a while ago. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Like,
How old were you then?
oh, I must have been 8 or 9 at the
And what were you
time.
benching at the time?
Yeah.
Probably more than both of us.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, that was crazy finding that. Like, it's just, yeah. It's weird. He's my coach. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah. It's weird where the years go as well. Like, it doesn't feel
Flies
that long
by,
ago
doesn't
as
feel that
well.
long.
Yeah.
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 Mental.
But you were, am I right in saying, well, I looked up Wikipedia, and Wikipedia claims that you, what are you 21 now?
Nearly 23.
Oh, well, right, you're ancient.
Update the Wikipedia page.
Yeah. So I think it said when you were 20, you were considered one of the strongest rugby players in the world because you were squatting 350. I took that with a pinch of salt. How accurate is that?
Oh, no, that's not accurate.
That's
That's
enormous. Like,
That's no. The Wikipedia, you can't trust Wikipedia.
no, you can't.
No.
I know you can't trust Wikipedia because I've personally updated other players' Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'd actually that to me as well. Yeah.
That's a great one to have in there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about Dev Toner about a few weeks ago, where there was rumours going around about Dev when he first started that he was like 11 foot tall, and he was getting paid by the government just to stop him from suing them anytime he banged his head off a building or something like that. And there was a similar rumor going on about you that you could squat a car and stuff like that. I think wouldn't that be the same? Would it be the same kind of category, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Vicious rumours. Like.
Yeah.
I'd say so. So what can you squat?
About 325.
So it's not.
So it's
It's not a massive stretch.
yeah.
I can see why Wikipedia let it go. They're like, let's not be sticklers. It's close enough. I once updated Paddy Wallace's Wikipedia. When he was a youngster, he might have been, I don't know, early 20s anyway. And he made his debut for Ireland Day against England Day at Welford Road. And he was playing 15. And I don't know who was playing 10 for England that day, but they must have put about 10 high balls on him, and he dropped every single one of them. So we slagged him about this quite a bit. And anyway, we decided then to update his Wikipedia, and his Wikipedia said Paddy Wallace made his debut for Ireland Day in a performance that featured more drop balls than an alumni choir boy reunion. So, by the next morning, it was down.
That's very good.
It never
took
actually
it down.
Wikipedia. took it
Wikipedia.
down. I think they scan for any differences or edits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check
So
it.
he never actually got to find out. We just told him. So
It's not the same.
no, it's not the same.
No. Could you edit mine?
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't last long because I think, well, unless it was close to the truth.
Yeah, I still haven't got my blue tick on Twitter actually either.
Yeah, that's
Keep
because you're a
working on
terrorist.
So looking forward to next weekend, final group match.
Yeah, big game. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, trying to take our learnings from this week and try to move on as fast as we can. Really, so especially Wasps away from home. So they'll be looking to put it up to us for what they came to
Doing
the
it again.
ODS and what
See,
I know,
doing it
I'm
again.
just-
Yeah, that's
Come
wasting it.
we were taught well by our media-led Leinster. So.
This is probably an exclusively Irish audience, so I don't think there's that many Wasp supporters or Wasp players going to be
Probably for
listening.
the best.
I think you'll be all right. You can tell us the truth.
Yeah.
No, we know the truth anyway. You don't have to say it. Don't get yourself in trouble. Just to keep us happy. Wouldn't be worth it.
Well, a home quarter final, I presume, be a huge bonus for you. Getting anyone to the RDS these days is going to be a tough task for any team. So, anyone you'd like to avoid?
I don't know. Saracens are
Or
kind
you'd
of.
lick your lips over?
You never
Can't
know.
say
Really,
that.
it's kind of like the double-edged sword. Really, but
Saracens
Saris are on
strong.
form. Yeah, and
Yeah.
sure. Edinburgh are doing very well as well in the Champions Cup. So yeah, you never really know who. So yeah, it's really unpredictable kind of at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's going to be a big week, and then hopefully into Irish camp. Our squad's going to be announced this week. So yeah, you're looking. Obviously you keep a close eye on that. And
yeah, hopefully fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the All Blacks game. It's not many players come into this room that have beaten the All Blacks. This fella here claims to have done it on his own before. But,
Once or twice.
yeah.
Once.
But especially that last 15, 20 minutes, what was that like for you in that atmosphere in the Aviva? I've never heard the Aviva as loud and as bubbling like it was that night. How was it on the field?
Yeah, sure. I think after the game, ears are still ringing just how loud it was, and I've never experienced anything like that before. It was immense atmosphere. It was just crazy. Like we couldn't even hear ourselves on the pitch. Like it was just like the whole of the AV was just erupting with like any time, and like anytime anything happened, really, it's just like they were behind us every play almost. So it was just, I think we were almost doing hand signals to each other to get the calls across. So because that's how loud it was, couldn't even hear ourselves. So it was crazy. I still can't believe it, really. So
Yeah, growing up watching them, watching the All Blacks, watching the heck out,
Yeah.
same as everyone else. The ultimate dream, I suppose, is always to beat them on
Yeah.
the home patch.
exactly, yeah, for sure. Like we'd done it, myself and James Ryan and Jacob has already done it at under 20s as well. So it's just getting that next step up. And to be able to do it with those guys as well is just something else. Like
Yeah, you, James Ryan, and Jacob were all on the same 20 side.
yeah.
That's a decent. that's a decent outfit.
Am I missing anyone? I hope not, because might get a bit of stick for that. But
Ringrose wasn't on that, was he?
he was. I was 20s. He was the year before. Yeah.
I know Jacob tore it up anyway
Yeah.
because I was looking over my shoulder at the time. How good is this guy? Pretty good. It looked like from that 20s World Cup. It
Yeah.
looked like it was just give the ball to Jacob, but that's if Porter and James Ryan
Yeah.
aren't in any space, get a game line with those lads and then give it to Jacob.
Yeah,
But,
it's just sure you could see like it was no surprise really to see them now like where they are and kind of seeing what they were doing back then. It's like sure, seeing Jacob, I think the try yesterday he scored for Ulster was just sure it was similar to the one against New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I think I saw him do that as well at under 20s. So yeah, it's amazing seeing just lads who you were playing with just kind of develop like
Kicking
that.
on
So
as well.
yeah.
What about? Tell us about that kind of progression coming through Leinster Academy, playing under 20s, because being in any other academy, you're thinking, not everybody graduates and not everybody kicks on, but in the Leinster Academy, it's so not exclusive, but it's such an unusual environment that it's so competitive that if you coming through the Leinster Academy, you must be in serious shape, because any Leinster players, they talk up a young fella coming through, they're not just talking about them like they're going to maybe play for Leinster, they're going to start for Leinster, they're probably going to play for Ireland. It's that's the environment it seems to be. Is that the way it is?
Yeah, like it was just when I was in sub academy, like even in the sub academy, then playing like Leinster 20s like that, it was just that was my goal, like to get into the academy then after that. So it was just about making kind of short steps like that for myself more than anything. Sure, I didn't even know I'd be playing professional rugby until after my second year under 20s, like. So I didn't kind of see myself playing professional rugby before that. So it was just everything kind of happened so fast after that. My second year of under 20s. So I'm sure I think I only did a year or half a year in the academy. Then I got bumped up to development after that.
What do you think gave you that burst, or was it something physical? I mean, you'd obviously played the game from a young age. You understood it. It wasn't like you were a late comer to the game. What do you think it was that?
I think it was just like because on my second year of under 20s, I was I think 130 kilos at the time, but I'm not that heavy now. But I think it was just
Conditioning.
I think it was just my condition, and sure the work the academy and the sub academy had done to build me up that way to be ready for senior rugby like that. So it was just the work Dave Fagan in the sub academy he did for me was just second to none, really. It was kind of laying the foundation for me almost. And then kind of get me ready for senior rugby and kind of get me the knowledge that I have now as well. So
would you have always been kind of stocky and going to the gym and being enthusiastic about that kind of like training in the gym? Because I know, so Cian Healy's like obviously kind of similar sort of approach. I don't know, he used to have a sandbag at the bottom of the stairs, and anytime he was going up the stairs, he put the sandbag on his back and brought it up. So he's obviously naturally very athletic and powerful. Did you have a bunch of buddies in school that you went to the gym and you were competitive with, or?
Like obviously the school I went to, St Andrews, wasn't a massive rugby school, so it was just I think the main thing for me was gym. The gym for me was just kind of like a bit of time where I could be by myself almost, and kind of because there wasn't that many lads that were big into the gym, because a lot of schools would have gym like as a supplement for the rugby and everything, but it wasn't that the case in our school really. So I just kind of found myself almost like skipping school sometimes I found myself in the gym for a couple of hours. Just that's how it was for me. It was just that's where I wanted to be.
So. What age were you then when you started lifting?
Around probably like 18, 17.
Oh right, okay.
Probably like 6th year kind of in school. Yeah.
I had a few mates in school, and we started going to the gym when we were like 16 or something. And I'd say we were going to the gym regularly for a couple of months, maybe after one summer, and we thought we were stacked. We went and we bought ourselves singlets and all. We didn't have a clue what we were doing, but we were like looking around the gym going, we're so much stronger than everybody in this gym.
Yeah, I see them in there now, and I'm like, I was like that as well, the exact same.
Yeah, it was pathetic.
Look, that's to be done. Kind of. Your dad then was a centre. Did he try and make you into a centre by any chance? My dad was a wing forward. He always tried to encourage me to be a wing forward. I was wondering, did that like, you're a skillful player. I can see you can pass the ball, you can move. You're a footballer as well as a big strong prop as well.
Yeah, I was kind of develop my game around that kind of. But my dad was. I've been told he was a prop in the back line really. So really? I think he was about 17 or 18 stone or something.
He was a 12, so I'd
13.
Was he?
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, I've heard stories about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lads didn't like playing against him and just.
Kill him.
Yeah, exactly. But
similar style to you, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tank. Bit of tackle in my life. But yeah, would you in Leinster? Obviously, they look at props and front rowers to be able to pass the ball. Tyke Furlong looks like a second out half sometimes that he plays. Do you put a lot of time into that yourself?
Yeah, like that's kind of what I have to. That's what I kind of wanted to work on myself. Really, just kind of, I had the kind of the physical kind of aspects to it. I just needed to develop the rest of my game, like my scrum and my pass, and just so I could get everything, be a more rounded player. Really, so. Yeah, that's what I've kind of really been pushing myself as well. So
Yeah, you made the transition then from loose head to tight head.
yeah.
And how was that? Because that's nowhere near as straightforward for a lot of guys, and you seem to have just taken to it. Not that we have any idea, but we just know it doesn't always look as easy as you've made it look.
Yeah, like it was frustrating at the beginning, like sure, because I thought I was actually going all right at a loose head, and then sure they come up to you one day and said, "Oh, we want to have a look at your tight head. We'll slot you in there for 1 or 2 scrums in training." Sure.
When was that? Was that before tag kind of kicked on?
No, that was not last year. Kind of halfway through the year before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a personnel reason? So they look and they say, okay, we're light on this side of the scrum, so we need to develop players more for that? Or was it something about you particular that would have
I
suited
think,
it?
well, as well in Leinster, like there was a huge queue of loose heads there. You had Jack McGrath, Cian Healy, Ed Byrne, Peter Dooley, so huge line. And then sure, that same year, Mike Ross was leaving.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was kind of strange because then I was playing a few games here and there for Leinster and then at Loosehead, and then I had to go back and play AIL for UCD. So to kind of learn a bit of the tricks of the trade at tight head. So
And did anybody in AIL, like maybe your first outing or a couple of like early outings, did anybody get the better of you?
oh yeah,
And they'll be like that. We telling stories at the pub. That guy Porter, I hammered him. on his first day out at tight head.
Oh yeah, I was pulling my hair out. Like it was that frustrating at the beginning, but sure. Oh yeah, it was just. And then I think I had one game against Ulster came on up in Kingspan.
That was your first professional.
First professional game at tight head.
Who were you up against?
Colin McCall, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Came up against him, and then sure, I had one game at that, and then got selected for the summer tour to go to Japan, USA and Japan. I got my first cap there, so things like picked up very quickly after that. So
Sink or swim.
yeah, exactly.
It's risky, isn't it? Because you're thinking, I'm doing all right here. Like, I can cope well, and I'm happy with what I'm doing. And then it's a big risk to move across the scrum, because if someone's going to judge you, no one's going to think, no commentator or journalist is going to say, give him a break, he's learning the ropes. They're going to say, if he's putting himself in there. And
yeah, you're thrown in the deep end a bit, but sure, like that was the thing. Like I took it on board, and it was just like I wanted to do it. Like I just wanted to see how far I could push myself in that way, and kind of be kind of flexible with that. So and if needs be, I can now play like loose head or tight head.
You've done a bit of both recently, haven't
yeah, like the odd now and again. So
you dabble.
I think it's
you
good.
dabble.
Yeah, exactly. Dabble. Yeah.
Keep your hand.
yeah. But it's good to know about now. So.
It's a bonus for the World Cup, isn't it? When you think about it, like just like, Joe, I can play a bit of loose head still or something like that. Like, just keep it in with him. Like,
we count my chickens before they're hatched now. So
the kind of Tom Courts thing, like kind of covering both sides of the scrum, like.
Yeah, especially in the World Cup when games come thick and fast. It is very important, and I think you're in a strong position with that, in your armour, I suppose. And just on that, I heard you say in an interview before that you like to set your goals for the year coming. Does that start a season thing, or would you have done something in January now to set some goals? Do you still do that?
Yes, I think it's good to have goals, kind of to keep pushing yourself and like really make yourself the best you can be, really. So I think one of the main, like I have different goals, like I've for Leinster, and then obviously for Ireland as well. So for Leinster, it's just like obviously it's to get that 5th star on the jersey as well, to like win back-to-back Champions Cups, and obviously in the Pro 14 as well. So and then for Ireland it's more so just kind of be more consistent, like on the pitch. So and then hopefully get my name in the bag for that for Japan this year. So
I'd imagine your goal setting, especially after last season, you win the double with Leinster, you win the Grand Slam with Ireland, you go to Australia and win a test tour, a test series. I'd imagine your goals.
Get on the House of Rugby.
Pretty, yeah.
Congratulations.
Off the pitch. Yeah.
complete now.
Yeah, big box ticked. But I'd imagine like that process is unbelievably straightforward. Just win another, beat the All Blacks, win a Grand Slam, get to the World Cup, win a World Cup. I don't know.
That's just some things just happen too quickly to almost make it. Like I've realized I've reached the goal that I've already set for myself, and then it's kind of the next one's come around, and I haven't really set another one before something else happens. So it's just everything just happens so fast, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you've been spoiled. I think you've spoiled yourself. I think you've actually ruined the rest of your career. If I'm honest.
Set the bar very high.
Very high.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've thoroughly enjoyed having you on the show, man.
Thanks very much,
And we wish you all the best achieving those goals for the season, and hopefully we'll see you in the green jersey at the World Cup as well. So
hopefully, yeah.
Thanks a million for coming
Thank
on.
you. Cheers.
Nice one, Andrew. Cheers.
Lovely. Cheers.
Okay, welcome back to part 3, and we're going to go straight ahead and look at the final group stages of the Champions Cup next weekend. Start with Munster welcoming Exeter to Thomond Park. Trimble, you've been doing some of the sums on what Munster need to do to get maybe a home quarter-final. Is that possible? Is that within their reach?
It's possible, but I think it's probably unlikely. So first of all, for them to top the pool, they have to just avoid a bonus point defeat to Exeter, or even the only other way Exeter could get ahead of them, even if they don't get a bonus point, they have to beat them by 30 points or something to make up the points difference. So that's probably not going to happen. I think they're safe enough there. Mm-hmm. And then Munster have to win, and then one of either Saracens, Racing, Leinster or Edinburgh will have to lose. Actually, probably not even Saracens. Even if Saracens lose, they're still going to stay ahead of Munster. So it's really Edinburgh is the one. The other three are probably certs, aren't they?
Okay.
Racing will hammer Scarlets. Saracens will probably beat Glasgow. Leinster will beat Wasps. So Edinburgh, I think, is the only one that they might get beat by Montpellier, but I still think Edinburgh will beat Montpellier.
Yeah.
So so Munster are probably looking at coming through 5th for an away quarter.
Okay. So they still got to go out and put on, hopefully get a bonus point against Exeter at the weekend, which obviously won't be an easy feat. But looking at how they played last weekend, obviously Joey Carberry getting all the headlines, 26 points, and just growing in confidence every week. I think that's something like 17 kicks out of 17 in the last 3 games, 3 tries, tons of meters made, and he's now making decisions that I think are controlling how Munster are playing the game. He's making decisions on what they're playing off the top of a line out, whether they're going for a maul. Yeah. His kicking game is obviously huge. He kicked one from the halfway line for Earls's try, he kicked from the touch line. It's just becoming that ever elusive replacement for Raj that we finally got.
Yeah, he looks just so comfortable, doesn't he? It's been a great move for him, brilliant move for him. And then mentioned Raj. Raj obviously gave him a shout out on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So Raj is obviously impressed, and if you're impressing Raj, you're doing something right. So yeah, he's going unbelievably well at the minute. Yeah,
I mean, you can't look at last weekend's game without looking towards Exeter, to be honest, because Gloucester I thought were very poor. Not taking anything away from Munster, they played what was in front of them, but like the first 20 minutes was a farce, putting 4 or 5 balls down, not even managing another couple. So I think there was about 6 of them in the first 20 minutes that they didn't deal with.
If you're playing against Munster, what is the thing that Munster are going to do really well? They're going to base a lot of their game around Murray. So you need to be flat out practicing as a back three. If you're playing them, you need to be flat out practicing your high ball reception all week. That's vital. Yeah. And they just dropped time after time. So,
look, it was good. Obviously, tactical play from Munster and converted a few very impressive tries in the first half as well. Joey's first try just got through the phases. Had some big plays from CJ, John Klein, Chris Farrell just sucks in 3 players every time he carries the ball. and that's just creating space for Joey. And then Scannell's try just before half time as well was huge. Just building phases, wearing teams down. Obviously, Exeter are going to be a lot different. They've much stronger in defence. They get off the line. They're quite aggressive. So Munster, I think, like looking at what they did do at the weekend, what they'll have to improve on, I found their latches were a bit non-existent, really. They were one-off runners again, which Munster have fallen into the odd time over the last few years. So that's something that I think they really need to hone in on. The discipline was a little bit poor. They conceded 12 penalties. But I think their defence has been exceptional. Their aggression on the ground in terms of Tyg Byrne and Peter O'Mahony and the likes, and they're competing at the line-out is incredible. Set piece has been really good. So, yeah, look, it's obviously going to be a tough game, but with hopefully they get Peter O'Mahony back on the pitch, which I think is important for them. But having the likes of Connor Murray, Joey Carberry, Rory Scannell, Chris Farrell, I think having that 10, 12, 13, 9, 10, 12, 13 combination going at the moment is just adding huge amounts to their armour. But then you've done the maths on Ulster as well. What do they need to do to come out of their group?
I think actually now I think about it, Exeter might not need a bonus point. Pat, am I right here? Have I cocked this up?
No, Exeter on 13. No, they're 4. They would need a bonus point.
But if they get 4, then they've got a better head-to-head with Munster.
Oh, it does, yeah. Goes to head-to-head first,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, doesn't it goes to head-to-head?
Yeah, because they drew in Stanley Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not certain yet.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, so it's actually a little bit in the balance. And Exeter are one of the few English sides. Saracens and Exeter are one of the sides that you would think, like Thomond Park's obviously a very, very difficult place to go and get a win in Europe. But I think Exeter and Saracens are probably the two sides who would have a chance of doing it. I still don't think they will. But yeah, it could be nervous enough.
Yeah, 5:30 in Thomond Park on a Saturday. They'll be baying for blood. So certainly we won't make it easy for them. I'll be there screaming at them. But yeah, moving on to the Ulster situation. How do you have them faring out?
Yeah, so Ulster are sitting on 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
Glasgow have overtaken them by bonus point in Cardiff on Sunday. And Toulouse will definitely get a win at home to Bath. So they'll probably overtake them as well, unless Ulster get a win. And then they might hang in the mix there, and they'll probably be then, if they get a win, or even if they get a losing bonus point, they might give themselves a chance of getting a quarterfinal away to, they could be in London away to Saracens, or they could be in Paris away to Racing.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt they'll end up being away to Leinster, because Leinster look like the two sides above them are going to win, so they'll probably end up third. So Ulster will do well to qualify as 6th, and that would be Leinster. So I think they'll probably be Saracens or Racing if they manage to get something out of Leicester at Welford Road. Okay. That's not easy either. It's still a big ask to go over there, but
absolutely very tough place to go. But I think Leicester, you'd hope that they might rest a few now that they're out of it completely. So we'll see. And Leinster there, you've named so many teams now, I'm just completely confused.
Yeah. I've got it written down in front of me and I'm still confused. Leinster is very straightforward.
Yeah, Leinster go out and beat the crap out of Wasps.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly,
yeah. Moving on from that, we are going to have a quick chat about Ireland's squad announcement later in the week. Any surprises, you think?
Keelan Blade, maybe?
Yeah, the 9 situation is a bit worrying. It looks like Luke McGrath, unfortunately, came off with looked like a knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard the results of a scan yet, but Cooney might be just a little bit of a back strain.
He's fine, I think.
He's fine.
He'll be fine for next weekend.
Okay, Marmion is obviously out till early March. So, yeah, I think Blade will be next.
He's gone well, and he probably deserves it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What about, do you think Tom Farrell will get a chance?
Any other position he probably would, but with the amount of players that are there ahead of him at the moment, he might not. It's a big squad, so you never know. But I think with the injuries around back row and full back and stuff like that. Maybe not. But I would. Obviously, we're a big fan of his, so I'd love to see him get in. It's going to be an interesting decision. I think I was thinking about Andrew Conway at the moment, just the back three situation.
Because Adam Byrne's going well as well.
Adam Byrne's going well. Just like the wingers, Stockdale and Earlsey for me are pretty solid there. And then you've got the likes of Larmer, Conway, Adam Byrne, Carney. At the moment, I'd be putting one of Conway or Larmer in his 15, isn't it? Starting 15 at the moment, and it just looks like such a dangerous backline when you've got those three back there. So interesting to see what he does there, but not too many surprises, I wouldn't imagine. We've also asked you to vote on Guinness Made of More Player of the Weekend, and here were your nominees. Munster's John Klein, who I thought got through a ridiculous amount of work, and Joey Carberry, Leinster centre and very good friend of the show, Garry Ringrose, and Ulster's Jacob Stockdale. Thank you for all your votes and comments. Landslide winner is Joey Carberry.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. He gets to keep the teeth.
How many sets of teeth has he got now?
That's 2 sets of Paul O'Connell's teeth he has. That's more money into the coin jar for our trip to Japan.
Yeah, fine.
Someone suggested that anytime we mention Paul O'Connell's teeth, put some money in. So that's another $5.
Yeah, you suggested a code word, POC's teas.
I did. Sorry, damn it. I had to use that. Yeah, we've already mentioned Joey. I think a big mention also, we needed to say something about Garry Ringrose because he was unbelievable at the weekend. What a player.
Yeah.
I just think he's the greatest 13.
He's so slippy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Everybody else is getting smashed.
Yeah.
Tag Furlong's getting smashed. James Ryan smashed. Yeah. But Ringsting just slips through.
Yeah, his footwork is ridiculous. Just that last second, but his work rate in defence and everything, he's just a leader at 23. Love it. Yeah. Fair play. We also had hashtag AskHOR. We put out a shout for your Twitter questions using the hashtag AskHOR, and here are some of the best ones. Willie M, aka Flying Cabbage. Random one, lads, but it's been in my head a while. How easy is it to swap wings? I thought he was talking about chicken wings here when he asked this question. That's where my mind was at. Are the rolls on each wing the same, or are there things you have to do differently on each side?
I find it a little bit difficult. Depends how familiar you become with one side, but for me, I always like the right hand side because I like to, when I'm chasing a kick, I like to lead with my right leg. I like to, having said that, actually, when I'm on the left side, I like when I shoot in defence, I like to hit with my right shoulder. So yeah, there's a little bit of both. There's not massive things, but when you become used to it, it's more maybe feeling like you're used to it rather than actually being that different, because you can find yourself in phase play out there anyway. And it's not like you'll have a disclaimer. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be on the other side.
I used to prefer 11 because Ryan Giggs wore 11, so I was like, yeah, for 11. That was the only reason. One more we'll take from Mark McBurney. What did Dimitri Schwarzenegger think to himself Saturday AM? Am I only in Belfast? A quick wash, a condition is fine. No, I have standards to maintain. I'll blow dry at the hotel. Or did he go full Jason Shanky? Who's Jason Shanky?
Jason Shanky's a hairdressers in Belfast. I thought it was a chain, actually. I thought you'd been familiar with that, but...
No, not down these parts.
Sarzetsky and Ferris had an issue at one stage, because if you remember famously, I can't remember the name of the guy playing for Stad, gouged Ferris. Right. And then there was pictures of it from the touchline, and then Stad came back and said the pictures had been doctored. And then Ferris came on and said, "Listen, I felt his thumb in my skull." I'm thinking Ben a tube or something. A tube, wasn't it?
Dupuis, yeah, but Tube was the main culprit.
Yeah. So anyway, a tube got a massive ban for it, and Dimitri Schwarzenegger is a good mate of his. So then after that, then they all obviously thought that Ferris set him up, even though he hadn't. He was just saying what he felt, yeah. And then I think after a game, later on, Sarzetsky remembered this and went to shake Stevie's hand. Stevie went for it, And then Starzeski did the old, like, combed his hair.
Oh no!
Like
He
the-
actually combed his hair.
actually combed his hair, like the dummy handshake, and then like sucked him
comb
into
hair?
it. Yeah,
Wow.
like the grease, the Danny Zuko.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Oh my god! I hope that answers your question, Mark Bernie.
It doesn't.
Doesn't at
All
all?
we did was take one name and then
Just went with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say you're probably happy with it.
Yeah, good story, man.
Yeah.
I like to prefer that.
Yeah.
Thanks for those questions. Again, the more random, the better. But thank you to everybody for your comments, for listening and for watching us on YouTube. If you're enjoying the show, please do remember to subscribe and leave us a rating or a comment. A big thank you to everyone that was involved in making the show this week. This has been Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby here on Joe, together with Guinness.
Party on, Baz.
Party on, Trimble.